Hello guys, and welcome to another video from Ignay. This week, or today anyway, this video, we are going to be going into the different awakening for each of the ants, whether I think that they're any good, best uses for them, what you need to be able to upgrade to each level, and therefore, and so on. So we're going to take kind of an in-depth look at each of the special ants that you can awaken. But before we get into that, like always, there will be a link in the description below. This is to our Discord channel. This channel is used as a community tool, so there's absolutely no bullying, being mean to each other, or just generally being an asshole. You'll be kicked and banned if you do so. Now, on top of that, as we grow in followers and subscribers, eventually YouTube will start monetizing my content. When they do so, the first 3 months of any monetary gain from my content will be given away in a bi-weekly giveaway to the people that are subscribed and in my Discord channel. After the 3 months, 25% of it will be given to people that are subscribed and in the channel at a monthly rate. Well, with all that, go ahead and give to your friends, get them subscribed, follow. Let's try to get this going. But anyway, let's get right into it. So with the awakening, there's a lot of good ones and a lot of ones that are kind of don't really have much impact. If I could find my damn, there it is. Shit. Okay. So we'll go into the ones I don't have first, to give you kind of my honest opinion of it. We'll start with the Parada. Now the Parada, it has effective when leading Guardians. Whenever Parada uses a combat skill, has a 25% chance to increase the attack and defense by 50% for 2 rounds. This effect is stackable. Unlocks at level 10. Damage taken from shooter ants minus 10%. Unlock at level 20. Damage dealt to shooter ants plus 10%. Now Parada is, for Guardians, one of the most amazing ants there is, because it really does make a big difference in a Guardian March. Naturally makes it a viable tier type to be able to use. So for this one, I would say that it's absolutely worth it. And if you happen to have Parada and or a Guardian Maid, or even have guards as a secondary unit and happen to have Parada in it, I would definitely suggest getting this one. Now, before we continue, the way I kind of work with my awakenings is I kind of focused on what I main as first. So I'm a shooter. I run both Giant Tooth and Remaster in my March. So I went ahead and got those to purple first before I unlocked Banshee Panda and then the Shikri. I am working towards getting my Remaster to gold before I go ahead and get the Mimicry one, because I don't really use Mimicry, at least not for PvE or anything. So that's why I'm at where I'm at. But anyway, we'll continue on. Brutal Biting. This is for the Brown Rogue. The Brown Rogue, when it first came out as a pay-to-win ant, it was extremely good. It was honestly one of the best ants there was, and this was right after they nerfed the Banshee Panda, which I'll go into that here in a little bit. But they ended, in the end, with the release of other ants, they ended up nerfing Brown Rogue pretty much into the ground, to where now Crimson Fragger is kind of better than it. But we'll go into it anyway. Effective when leading any soldier ants, increases skill damage dealt by a Brown Rogue squad to the enemy's backline by 20%. Unlocked at level 10. When the battle starts, deals 500% damage to the enemy's backline. Unlocked at level 20. If the skill hits a squad with higher than 50% squad power, the skill damage will be increased by 10%. Now, this is what kind of put the Brown Rogue back on the board as far as not pro-March material, but having uses again. This really allowed it to be able to be competitive again, like in a defensive March or something of that nature, because it targets the other player's power unit, right? Because we've discussed this in previous videos to where you kind of want your 2 damage dealers to be in the back of whatever your squad is. So it really kind of targets them first because A, automatically they're going to be above 50%. B, it's launching 500% additional attack at them if you got it up, obviously, plus an extra 20%. So it really does help it be more of a damage dealer again when it had been nerfed essentially into the freaking ground. And we'll go right into the next one. So with Ghost Ant. Ghost Ant is an amazing ant as it is, but it's usually used for PvP, mostly for its wake effect, so that it's not able to, your squad's not able to be silenced or have any negative buffs attached to it, at least if it procs. So it's a good ant. It usually does proc because it's a pretty insane ant. But effective when leading carrier ants, has a 50% chance to additionally trigger the 8th skill once in the 2nd, 4th, and 6th round. Unlock at level 10. Increase the stealing effect by 25%. Unlock at level 20. The bonus effect of stealing will be granted to an extra squad randomly in the tree. So if we go and look at that, the 8th skill is 80% chance to, well, 80% chance to deal 175 damage plus special ant level 0.05 to 2 random enemy squads to steal 40% of their attack for 1 round. So that's essentially telling you that on top of that, it's allowing it to, so it already has, let's see, a 50, and then, well, here goes the game stability. So 50 and then an 80. So it's basically telling you that in the 2nd, 4th, and 6th round, it has a 100% chance to be able to proc this. So that already is good. Plus it's dealing an extra, I think it's at 25%. Let's see. Yeah, an extra 25%. So 65% chance to, or 65% of their attack is what you're going to be taking from. So that, I mean, right there, that's a big ouch factor, which is part of the reason why Ghost Ant, I've always suggested with Ghost Ant to have it in your march if you're a carrier main, because especially with this awakening, it makes it pretty much a beast. And we'll go right into the mimicry. Mimicry. Effective when leading garden ants, increases the chance of triggering the A skill to 80% in the 1st round. At level 10, increase the skill damage of the skill by 20%. And then at 20, the A skill can additionally increase the damage taken by the target by 20% for 1 round. So we'll look at the 8th skill. Prepares for 1 round, has a 60% chance to deal 120. Damage to 3 random enemy squads within effective range. Okay, so this is good for, it is good. I mean, obviously it makes the mimicry better, but the problem with mimicry is it kind of has such a low proc rate, but when it does actually proc, it hits really good. So increase that to 80. I can see its usage in like PvE. I still don't really see it having much use in PvP, even though as a free to play, it is still one of the best PvP ants that you can use. But this isn't, unless you're a Guardian main, this isn't something I would really chase after. But if it's what you're using like for Pangolin and shit like that, then yeah, I could see it having some use from that, because I mean, obviously it's a 20% extra proc plus more damage. It's worth it. And now we'll get into the ones that I actually do have. So the Banshee Panda, when the Banshee Panda first came out, this ant was absolutely broken for its skill 2. And when it first came out, essentially it was made it so that for the first 4 rounds, you're untouchable. And I mean, this worked for carriers, this worked for guardians, the whole 9 yards. It was absolutely busted. Then they nerfed it to hell and back. it made it so that the Banshee Panda is not really that great of an ant anymore. I still do use it, but it's like in my line March 3 or something like that, just because I don't really have anything else that I can really use at the moment to be able to replace it. But we'll go into what Awakening is. So the Banshee Panda squad, dodge rate plus 20%. Okay, that's all good and dandy. It really kind of helps with your second skill, increasing that. That's cool. Triggers after a successful dodge, has a 25% chance to deal 100% damage to a random enemy squad. Unlocks 20 triggers after a successful dodge, has a 25% chance to heal its squad with a healing rate of 100%. Okay, so Banshee Panda has not really ever been a hitter, it's a support. So as far with it having a damage buff as its Awakening attached to it, I don't really think it is viable. Now, don't get me wrong, just the base Awakening, because it is increasing the dodge rate, that does kind of put it back in the line to where it has its use, and that's one of the reasons why I have it Awakened, because it actually does give it some use, you know, raising your dodge rate to what? I gotta remember what the dodge rate is on this. Well, I guess they reworded it. No, okay. All squads will dodge damage when they attack them the first time in the first 4 rounds. Yeah. So increasing that is nice because, I mean, it basically puts it to where the first round obviously is already dodged, but then after that it kind of puts it back in the line to where it should have been in the first place, to where it has an increased dodge rate, but it's not just absolutely overpowered. And we'll go into the remaster. This is the one that right now I am working on getting it to be gold. Very strong ant for shooters. Let's see. So in the second and fourth round, Remaster has a 50% chance to deal 440 damage to all enemy squads. Has a 50% chance to inflict exhaust effect for 1 round, increasing the skill damage dealt to multiple squads by 10%. So this is kind of interesting as far as a shooter ant, because if you look at Remaster itself, and it doesn't say which skill or anything like that, which with this one, let's see. Okay, yeah. So this one, it already has suppress. So you're adding an additional 50% chance to exhaust on top of it, plus damage that isn't related to a proc of the skill. That's a big win. That makes it, honestly, in my opinion, one of the best Awakenings as far as the special ants that there is. And we'll look at the rest of it. Yeah, so second and fourth round, and then has a 50% chance for 1 round. So essentially, if you can get it to proc on a round that this is not, so this, because it prepares for 1 round, essentially it's going to go 2, 4, 6, that it has the chance to be able to proc. If you can get it to proc like on a round 1 or round 3, that's going to help you out a lot more. And then we'll go into the Shikri. Also a very good one for carriers. I'm not a carrier main. I only use carriers when it's on Pangolin Day. It's my worst day, to be honest. But increase the skill release chance of Shikri Master by 5%, increasing the skill damage by 10%. Has a 5% chance to use its second skill at level 10. And then unlocks at level 20, has a 10% extra chance to use the 5th skill. So already it's increasing its skill chance, skill damage of each of the skills, which that's a big plus. Then it has an additional 5% on its second skill. So let's go look at that. So basically putting that up to 35, and then its 5th skill puts that up to 40%. So that's pretty good. Plus the additional 5% that's already given, plus 10% skill damage. It's a no-brainer why that would be a good choice as far as Awakening. And the last one, Giant Tooth. So effective when leading any soldier ants. Triggers once per round. Giant Tooth squad has a 50% chance to deal 220 damage to the enemy squad with the lowest power. Has a 50% chance to inflict the silence effect. Unable to use combat skills for 1 round. Increases the skill damage dealt to a single target by 10%. So this is nice too, because it's already a support ant. It's not really meant to be a damage dealer, but they kind of threw that in there. But they have a little bit of everything. Because if we look at it already, it has exhaust on it as already, but now it's also adding silence, which can basically trigger every round. So you're essentially doubling the effectiveness of this. So it's a 90% chance to essentially put them on some kind of disable for 1 round. And this one has this is exhaust, so that's damage reduction by 20, and then you have a silence on top of it, which will literally make it so that they can't even fire that skill. So that's obviously very nice. Increases skill damage dealt to a single target by 10%. That is also kind of big, because if you're running like how you're supposed to, where you have your Giant Tooth and then 2 damage dealers behind it, you're giving basically your damage dealers an additional 10% boost to be able to hit something. So with that being said, that's the ants itself. Now when you go to awaken them, obviously you need them at 10, 20, and then you need it at 30 to be able to get to gold. So 10, it starts at green where you just unlock it. 10 is blue, which you need, I think it's 1. Yeah, you need 1 for that, and then I believe for it's 1 and then 2 for the purple, and then 3 for gold, which that's what I'm working on right now. Obviously the awakening protein that you need goes up per, like right now it's, for me, 349 out of 400 that I need just to go from 24 to 25. So as you can see, obviously it keeps going up. Anyway, that pretty much covers this video. I hope it helped you guys. I hope that it gave you some insight as to what I think as far as the awakening, and helps you with your choices down the line. And thanks for watching. Eggman is out.